The Most Beautiful Roof in the World by Kathryn Lasky, Chapter 2, Out of the Shadow and Into the Light. Deep in Belize, in Central America, there is a place called Blue Creek. Almost every month, nearly 40 inches, 102 centimeters of rain falls. Blue Creek is considered one of the most humid places on the entire planet. In this shadowed world, pierced occasionally by slivers of sunlight, are more varieties of living things than perhaps any other place on Earth. Within a 16-foot, 5-meter square, there can be upward of 200 different species of plants. And there are animals too. Bats swoop through the canopy, vipers coil among buttress roots, waiting in ambush. A rare, mysterious tree salamander slinks into the petals of an orchid. Poison dart frog tadpoles swim high above the forest floor in the tanks of bromeliads. The rainforest is a timeless, uncharted world where mysteries abound and new or rare species appear like undiscovered islands. Within the tangled vines, under the rotting bark of fallen trees, caught in the slime and mold of decaying vegetation and fungi, life teems with ceaseless energy. When a tree falls, the stump rots, bark loosens, and new creatures move in and take over the altered habitats. It is the very diversity of the rainforest that allows life to thrive everywhere, to spring back with a rush of opportunistic species to fill the gaps. Meg Lohman believes that science is the machinery that runs the earth. She explains, I think that science is really the way things work, and that's exciting. It is important to understand the bigger picture of our planet and where we live, how it functions, what we do with it, and how that will have impact. When Meg wants to have a close look at the machinery, she goes to the rainforest, and recently she has been coming to Blue Creek. Meg worries about the machinery. Although it seems invincible, although she can track a new swarm of ants rushing into a tree notch to fill a gap that was not there the previous day, she wonders how strong the machine really is. How many species can be removed before it will break? Viewed from an airplane, the top of the rainforest at Blue Creek looks like a field of gigantic broccoli. The bright green florets are actually the emergent growth of the very tallest trees. The crowns of these trees extend above the canopy and the layer known as the pavilion. The pavilion is to the canopy as a roof is to a ceiling. From the emergent growth to the floor of the canopy is a drop of 150 feet, 46 meters or more. Meg wants to go to the canopy, a layer below the emergent one. At Blue Creek, a canopy walkway, designed by specialists and rainforest platform construction, has been built. Meg is up at first light. It is drizzling, but she will not wear rain gear. It is too hot. She has beans and rice for breakfast because this is all that is available. For her boys, she has brought along cheese whiz and crackers because they are tired of beans and rice. Unless the Mayan people who live in the nearby village come into the forest with chickens or melons, the menu does not vary. She kisses the boys goodbye and leaves them with her brother Ed, who helped build the walkway. She puts on a hard hat and climbs into her safety harness. The harness has two 6-foot lengths of rope attached. At the end of the ropes are jumars, or ascenders. Jumars are used in technical rock climbing. The metal U-shaped device has a hinged and grooved gate that allows the rope to slide up as one climbs but locks instantly with downward motion. To descend, the climber must manually push the gate open to allow the rope to slide through. Bye, Mom, James waves as he watches his mother begin her climb at the base of the ormosia, or cabbage bark tree. Remember, it's our turn next, calls Edward as he watches his mom climb higher. The boys have accompanied their mother to rainforests all over the world. Now, for the first time, Meg feels they are old enough to go up with her into the canopy. She has ordered special child-size harnesses for them. They are excited, but first their mother has work to do. Traps to set for insects, leaves to tag, drawings to make, flowers to count. It will be many hours before they can join her. In the meantime, they can swim in the creek and explore a secret cave that their uncle promises to take them to. Meg is fast. Within a few short minutes, she has ascended 80 feet, 24 meters. Then the metal ladders fixed to the ormosia tree run out. For the next 15 feet, the real climbing begins, 4.5 meters. Metal staples project from the tree trunk. These are the footholds. For the unpracticed, they are scary. They seem spaced too far apart for easy stepping. There is a rhythm. A climber must clip the safety lines securely to wires strung above and then step, clip, step, unclip one jumar, clip, step, unclip again. It is a mosaic of hand and footwork until Meg is perhaps 95 feet, 29 meters above the ground and approaching the first platform. Meg swings herself onto the platform with the seeming ease of a spider monkey negotiating canopy vines. Now she is at the beginning of the walkway. The walkway itself is Y-shaped. The main stem of the Y spans nearly 100 feet, 30 meters, across Blue Creek to the other bank. Once across, the arms of the Y diverge into two separate walkways that tie into trees on the opposite bank of the creek. There is a major observation platform at the junction of the Y's arms and then others higher up that provide views at different levels. When viewed from below, the canopy appears to be one big maze of tangled vines and foliage, but within the canopy there are a variety of distinct regions. Some might be sunny, some shadier. In some areas, the branches of a tree grow at steep angles, while in another region they grow more horizontally. At some points in the canopy, there is what researchers call crown shyness, by which they mean the spacing between the crowns of the trees. This spacing influences what lives where in the canopy, providing pathways for toucans, and macaws and other creatures that fly. For those creatures that swing or glide or climb, there are the emerald highways, strung together by vines and lianas that lace the tops of the trees together into a web for commuting life. Meg has now crossed the creek. She's climbing to the first observation platform, 110 feet, 33.5 meters above the ground. She can hear monkey chatter just above her. She stops, balances on a staple, and looks straight up. There is a sudden dark streak against the sky. Two spider monkeys spring through the branches. They move in fluid loops and arcs, dancing in a tangled rhythm as they alternately grasp with hands, feet, and tail. The space between the branches changes with each new grip, making a shifting geometry against the sky of sliding rectangles, split-second parabolas, and drifting squares. The first monkey pauses at the end of a limb. Spider monkeys prefer the middle layers of the canopy. The capuchins are often found in the lower levels, and the howler monkeys that bellow at dawn like distant foghorns live at the very top. Meg begins taking snapshots of leaf-eating activity. Last month, she had marked every leaf on several branches with a number. She now checks to see how much of each leaf has been eaten. Leaf number 5 is 0%. Number 3 is 50%. Leaf number 4 is 0%, with 3 minings. Meg calls out to a graduate student assistant who writes the figures down in a notebook. Mining occurs when an insect eats through just one layer of a leaf surface, which results in a browning pattern. There might also be galls on a leaf to be noted. In this way, Meg acquires her snapshot of leaf-eating activity on particular trees in certain regions of the canopy. She will later compare these figures and notations with what she already knows about the hatching periods of certain insect populations. She has a hunch that the hatchings are synchronized to occur when certain leaves flush or first grow and are at their most tender for eating. Through many years of research, Meg has seen a pattern, and her theory is that the newest leaves are the tastiest for insects. Within a matter of 2 months, 25% of the leaf will probably be eaten. The rate slows down as the tender young leaves grow older and tougher. Meg and her assistant work for the better part of an hour making snapshots of eaten leaves, and she then gets out a few mesh bags. It is necessary for a scientist not only to observe ongoing processes, but to ask new questions that might only be answered by setting up experiments that often interrupt natural processes. With the mesh bags, Meg is going to begin an exclusion experiment. She will tie each bag onto a branch, protecting its leaves from insect predators. Nearby will be another branch without a bag, called a control. She wants to know if by excluding one variable, the leaf-eating insects, the new growth will differ. If there is a barrier, those new leaves will not be eaten. But will this cause even more new leaves to flush out, or does the fact that a branch's new leaves are being consumed stimulate the tree to produce more? Meg climbs higher into the canopy. The light twinkles brightly. Above her is a cascade of orchids. Suddenly, through the avenues of emerald light like winged rainbows, two macaws sweep through the canopy. The very air seems splattered with their brilliant colors. The birds fly in silence, but the spider monkeys screech in alarm. Branches shake. The bright pair settles in a nearby kapok tree. There might be a nest with chicks in it, for this is the time when the young hatch. Or the pair might be foraging in the surrounding mahogany and kapok trees for fruit and nuts. The beaks of macaws are among the most powerful in the world. Macaws can crack almost any nut or seed and also deliver the most wicked of bites. The two birds suddenly explode from the tree like a burst of fireworks and go to another tree nearby. Meg thinks that they are most likely foraging for food to bring to their young. They deliver the food by first chewing it up until it is pulpy mass that they then swallow and store in a food pouch. When they return to their young, they will regurgitate this food into the mouths of their chicks. Soon they fly off. Meg wishes James and Edward could have seen them. Meg continues climbing up. She reaches the third platform, 115 feet, 35 meters above ground. This platform is built in the spreading branches of a nargusta tree. Two lianas snake out along one branch, seeming to choke it in their twisted grip. From this platform, she has a good view of 4 ant gardens she is monitoring, as well as of 2 very special bromeliads. First, she peeks in on the ant gardens. They appear to be almost hanging, with their tendrils of plant roots and vines swaying in the still air. They are actually firmly based on the branches of trees. Ah, there's a new one just beginning, Meg claims as she focuses her viewing scope. At the V where one branch joins another, there appears to be a clump of dirt with several small, spear-shaped leaves, similar to those of a Christmas cactus, projecting. This, in fact, is the foundation for the little treetop farm so carefully tended by several different species of ants. Meg clips her Jumars into some extending cable so she can go higher and get closer to the ant gardens. She wants to observe a mature one that fairly bristles with plant life. Meg counts at least 6 different kinds of seedling plants here, ranging from orchids to cacti. A peperomia plant forms its base. The ant gardens are magnets for epiphytic growth. Epiphytes, unlike vines or lianas, usually start growing from the canopy down. They need the tree for support. They root on the bark or soil found on the tree. They often begin when a bird excretes a seed from overhead, or, as in this case, when the ants themselves drag in bits of plant materials. The bits take root, the seeds sprout. The little ant farmers tend them night and day, and in return they feed off the glucose and protein that the plants contain in their suckeries, the sugary deposits made by the plant's metabolic processes. Scientists think that the ant gardens themselves may be of benefit to more than just the ants, that these gardens help the tree itself by allowing it to capture more solar energy and to trap atmospheric nutrients that might slip off a bare trunk. There are many such interlocking relationships within the rainforest, and ants often play a major role. Sometimes epiphytic growth can become too much and literally strangle a tree. The bullhorn acacia tree has a very effective defense against epiphytic growth. With its hollow stems, it cannot tolerate the stranglehold of many epiphytes. Therefore, it has become the home for a special breed of ants that live in its stems and protect it fiercely. Whenever the tree is even slightly disturbed, the ants charge out of a pinhole in the thorn and attack. In return, they feast on the sugar in the tree. Other ants visit the canopy but live underground in great fungus factories. The leaf-cutter ants do their farming in reverse, trudging up to the canopy day and night to cut dime-sized discs. Then they hoist the pieces overhead and carry them back down to underground chambered caverns. In the dark, damp maze of tunnels and caves, the leaves begin to grow mold and fungi, which in turn feed the ants. The long, silent lines of tiny, quivering green discs move across the rainforest floor. If you peer closely, you notice that on each disc rides an even smaller ant. This one protects the carrier ant from attacks by diddly micro-wasps. For lateral protection, alongside the column march lines of larger soldier ants. Each leaf disc, no bigger than a dime and only a fraction of a gram in weight, must get to the fungus factory. Once there, other ants will check the leaves to see if they are right for the kind of fungus the ants are producing. If they are not, the discs are discarded and the ants must turn around and climb 100 or more feet, 30 meters, into the canopy again in search of the right kind of leaf. Meg carefully edges her way toward a bromeliad, another type of epiphyte. An owl butterfly alights on a leaf, then flutters off. A dragonfly hovers like a small jeweled helicopter. At the end of this branch lies a world within a world, a pond within the canopy, a pool hovering midair within a bromeliad. Bromeliads have spiky leaves which form a fibrous hollow tank. The outer leaves are bright green, but often the inner leaves are a fiery red and erupt like tongues of flame from a volcano. Rather than lava, however, there is water, and within the water there is life, the larvae of mosquitoes and the tiny tadpoles of a frog, temporarily using the plant's pond as a nursery. The tadpoles hatched on the ground slithered onto their mother's back. She then began the long climb in the canopy in search of one of these water nurseries. Other creatures lurk in the overlapping leaves of the bromeliad. In this bromeliad, Meg finds no frogs. Maybe the frog and its tadpoles have been eaten by the little venomous snake she spots coiled among the outer leaves. Perhaps sensing her presence, it slips out of the bromeliad and scrolls across a nearby philodendron leaf and then holds perfectly still. With its pretty chain-patterned skin, it appears like a beautiful necklace flung out of nowhere. There is a blur of movement in the corner of Meg's eye. A sudden dark design appears from deep within the bromeliad. It is a tarantula. It bristles at this disturbance, climbs toward the bark of the tree, and comes to rest like black embroidery against the bright green leaves. There is one more bromeliad on this branch. Meg makes her way toward it and peers in. Out creeps a small tree salamander. Meg is excited. She recognizes it as a very rare lungless salamander. She has only heard about them and seen perhaps one or two pictures. Because of their rareness and their inaccessibility in the canopy, these salamanders with their suction cup feet are one of the canopy's most mysterious inhabitants. No one knows how they breed, what they eat, or how they live. Meg backs away quickly. She does not want to disturb the creature. She hopes it will return to the maze of bromeliad leaves from which it emerged. This is a surprise she has been looking for to show her boys.